and taking care of myself, providing that personal power by exercising and also, consuming the right information, not just the TikTok videos all day long, right? But being able to see within about how can I create something greater? How can I be more patient, more loving? Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, AZ Araujo, and I want to thank you for joining me today. Go ahead and check in. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I know there's about 1,000 other things you can be doing, but you decided to be here with me. Hopefully get a little nugget, right? And that's what I want you to kind of go into this Mindset Mastery with. What is the one nugget that will allow you to move forward in whatever you want to create today? Something that'll change behavior, something that'll change your actions. So go in there with the same intention that I'm going into this with. I want to be able to deliver as the greatest of value, the greatest of perspective I can, so that you can continue this path of growth and expansion. And I think that's why we're all here, right? We've discussed this many times before, is that we all resonate. We all there's an energy that vibrates the same way, that we want great things in life. And we want to feel fulfilled. We want, great relationships. We want a certainty and a power within us. We want the funds and a successful business, the finances. We want all these great things. We want to feel good. We want to look good. And I think that's what draws us together. But sometimes life just takes us off our path, and it happens more to others than it does to those that continue to grow. And I'll tell you what it is. It's they've grown accustomed to being able to do the same things over and over again. And what I've also seen, and from my side, I can't tell you how much I actually think about every one of you. I really do. And that's why I take the time to meet with every one of you when you join A's and Associates. And I see some of you leaning in hard and being involved and reaching out to me and coming to all the meetings and all the Mindset Masteries and all the online meeting, like our sales meeting last week. And then I see others that kind of disappear, right? They're in their own island. They're doing their own thing. And I worry. And I hope and I pray that things will change, that you give yourself permission to be great. You give yourself permission to endure, to overcome whatever obstacle you're facing. And a lot of us are facing things that are even hard to think about, right? The emotion, as soon as you start thinking about that, the emotion overwhelms you. And here I'm just trying to shine a little light to see, so that you can see the greater side of you, the more powerful you, the more certain you. And I've been proven right time after time after time of those of you that have hit hard pits, hardships in life, financial hardships, and how you've been able to turn that around. That inspires the heck out of me, and it should inspire you. But like we talked about in the last sales meeting, many people forget about the pains, and they go back to their old patterns, not realizing they're one step closer back to those pains. You see, I like to think about those pains. I don't like to experience them anymore. And that's why I get up every single day, to be able to do what's required from me. I do what's required for myself, for my health, for my family, and for my business. I get up with the same intentions. And although I don't forget about the pains, I don't want to experience those same pains over and over and over. That's a dysfunctional loop. And what happens with many is that they forget where they were. They forget how bad it felt. They forget about how self-conscious they were when they had 20, 30 pounds of weight on them. And as soon as they lose it, they start taking steps to regaining it, only to experience that same pain over and over again. And the same thing happens with business, with relationships. It's all tied together. It's all synonymous. And we're real easy to forget. And a lot of individuals just like to experience it over and over again, like a broken record. Taking a bad situation to a good one. They feel great. They know that song. They know that story. I'll make it really bad, and then I'll get out of that bad situation. I'll screw things up in my marriage, and then I'll get right back out of it where we're on fire. I'll stop marketing, and I'll stress about the finances and the money that I'm making, and I'll be on edge, and then I'll take us out, and then we'll go on a Disneyland trip. And it's the same story over and over and over again. And my hope is you just remember those pains, not experience them over and over again. And this is something you have to catch yourself as you're doing it. At the moment you start celebrating, at the moment you start taking your foot off the pedal, is a step towards that pain again, experiencing that pain. And it's not like I feel like I don't want to stop sometimes. Sometimes I'm exhausted. There's a million thoughts going through my head. Sometimes I feel burnt out, stressed out of my mind. So I have to give myself that opportunity to access personal power, to be able to alleviate some of the stress that I feel, that I have to endure. And taking care of myself, providing that personal power by exercising and also, consuming the right information, not just the TikTok videos all day long, right? But being able to see within about how can I create something greater? How can I be more patient, more loving? How can I appreciate life more? That's putting a deposit towards your personal power, and it's something that we've outlined here with the 12-week target book, but yet many forget, and they want to experience that pain again. I could endure pain. I could take my body to levels that most can't endure. I enjoy it, but I bring it upon myself in a way that will help me grow and prosper. Not sabotage my growth and my certainty. I've endured a lot of pain. I've had my arm completely detached from my body. I've almost bled out. I faced death right in its eyes. I can endure this, but I don't want to experience it again. I know what it feels like not to have money to pay my bills, to foreclose on a home. I know what it feels like, and I never want to be there again. I don't want to experience it. I just want to remember it. And if you can just simply change your perspective on that and realize that the lesson has already been learned, you don't have to relearn the same lesson over and over and over again by shutting down. And I know it's easier said than done. I know a lot of you may be facing these anxiety issues, these depression issues. I know it's easier said than done, but you're capable of it because you've done it before, but yet you decide to be the weakened state of yourself as opposed to the most powerful version of yourself. You can decide which side you'll land on, the weakened version or the more powerful version of yourself. And all you have to simply do is just remember, not re-experience it. And this is a decision, this is a perspective that you have to see. Because I've seen people hit milestones in their business only to be in the same messed up situation, can't even pay their house bills or their mortgage or their car payment a month later. How is that possible? Oh, did you forget how it felt to be broke? And this is something that you have to choose. So, my life, I decided that many years ago that I was tired of playing the same song. I was tired of reliving the same pains over and over and over again. And I just decided to stick to a simple game plan that guaranteed me progress, that guaranteed me growth and expansion. Because I hated stressing over money. I hated it. I hated, thinking that we were going to get divorced. I hated feeling guilty that I wasn't connected with my daughters. I hated watching others, not that I'm a jealous freak, but I hate watching others just blow right past me. Why couldn't I compete at that level? They weren't special. I just decided to experience the same pains over and over again as they decided to progress. And that's the same decision you have. But it begins with personal power and remembering those experiences, not reliving those experiences. And you can tell. And I've seen many individuals. I've witnessed 400 plus people go through this Do the Work challenge. And I would say 80% of them are not in the same position when they lost all that weight. They went back to what got them so weakened. They went back to feeling all those insecurities because they couldn't sustain this type of lifestyle. And this is this peaks and valleys situation with business as well. I've seen many of you, again, hit these milestones only to end up in the same situation. I'm asking you just to remember a little more. I'm asking you not to forget. I'm asking you not to re-experience the same pains. Like grow so you can experience something different. Of what it means to have to owe Uncle Sam 100, 6 figures or more. That's a different level. Not trying to earn it where you're owing it now. That's a different type of level. Experience the pains of trying to grow a team. Experience the pains of trying to pay employees. And benefits. And vacations. And raises. Those are different types of pains. Try taking a vacation because it's who you are, not because you're simply trying to escape your reality. It's different. But again, it takes you not having to re-experience the same pains over and over again. And you have a decision. Is it, am I willing to do the things that make me uncomfortable? Am I willing to put myself out there? And I've given you what it takes. And many of you just listen it and avoid it or attempt it for a week, for 2 weeks, and say, it didn't work. It didn't work because you didn't stick to it. One of the major components here is to do a live video every single day. And I challenge people, and I'm telling you, you cannot get what you want if you don't put yourself out there. If you don't get to learn who you are and what you're about. If you don't test your ability to remain consistent. It's not about the amount of views. And this is where I think society is distorted. They think success is the amount of views, the amount of followers. Are you in this game for popularity or profitability? But you're buying into those lies. Like in the marketing industry, there's these plaques that they give out, like funnel hack plaques, these ClickFunnels plaques. If you produce $1 million in revenue, and you have all these people so happy about their plaques, they have them posted up on their walls. They're embracing it, and they're falling into this false narrative that they actually made it. When they're struggling. And you have to decide. Popularity, profitability. The views are not for popularity. The views are to develop who you are, to develop your communication skills, to become certain of who you are. And that correlates to profitability. So there's many decisions that we have to make today. And I'm hoping that you refuse to experience the same thing over and over again. Now, I've been challenging myself in a massive way. I've been challenging my team here in a massive way on how we can penetrate all the noise out there on social media and with ads. And I can see the reservation for many people, right? There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and everyone's an expert. You put a camera to yourself, and you're the expert. And a lot of people are growing fatigued about the bait and switch, about someone trying to teach something that they're not even doing themselves. So I get it. And doing these ads has really challenged me of getting my communication down to a specific point, being able to drill down to the specific pains, and have the audience realize that I have a type of solution. I'm no guru. I'm just a regular dude that's figured a few things out. I'm a regular dude that will do the hard things day in and day out. And I have the results to prove it. I don't need to put a plaque on there. I can show you my results. I could take off my shirt and I could show you my results. I could show you my bank account. I could show you my business. I could show you my marriage. I could show you who I am as a father. But there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I had somebody ask me, I had somebody ask me, tell me more about yourself, right? Like, I see all these things that you have. Tell me more about yourself. And this is something that I just wrote out. I sent this out on an email, and I'm going to go ahead and read it out to you, okay? It said, I just received a message on Facebook. It said, tell me more about yourself. I took this message as another way of saying, what makes you qualified to lead, and I'm doing another big money brokerage. What makes you qualified to lead the big money brokerage workshop? I think most would agree that the best way to respond to such a message is to give them a resume of all the great things I've accomplished. I can start by telling him I've owned multiple businesses for 20 years and been a realtor for 18 years. And for 18 years, I've been a top producer for every company I've been with, including Keller Williams, Remax, and various independent companies. I've sold over 3,000 homes in my career. I was selected on the top 30 under 30 for Realtor Magazine in 2007 and even landed on the cover. I ran one of the largest REO operations during the housing crash. I own a real estate brokerage that sold 2,300 homes in 2021 alone. I also own a title company, a coaching company, and a fitness company. By just listing out these wins in my career, it may lead you to believe that I have it all figured out. Right? Just by listing that, most people would think that I have it all figured out. But this is where the reality is. The fact is, those are just specific moments in a very dysfunctional path. Those are just specific moments in a very dysfunctional path. Very much like social media. This recap is only showcasing the highlights of my career. The fact is, I struggled with my life. I made bad investments. I couldn't afford my mortgage payments. I foreclosed on my home. My assets were seized by the IRS. I had multiple pending lawsuits at one time. I lost a franchise. I couldn't afford my bills. I overdrank. I couldn't sleep. I got a DUI. My wife left me. My kids didn't trust me. It felt like I had a hole in my soul, yet I postured every day. Popularity. I was nothing more than a liar and a victim, blaming everyone and everything for my outcomes. I gave up on myself. My family, my business, and my purpose. I prayed for guidance. I found a mentor who understood me, someone who had everything I was seeking. And I became a student. I became aware of my dysfunctions. I put in the work. I bettered myself every day. I'm in the best shape of my life at 43. My wife and I have never been more in love and connected, going on 19 years married. She's my best friend. My daughters trust and love me. I coach and mentor them every day. I own one of the largest independent brokerages in Arizona. I coach and lead others throughout the U.S. so they can coach and lead others. I'm no guru. I'm only human who's figured a few things out. I am committed to growth and expansion. I am relentless. This includes helping you build your business. Why? Because I know what's at stake. And listen, I understand when things are not working for you. I understand the hardships that you may be facing, the stresses you may have to endure day in and day out. But unless you start seeing something greater for yourself, none of this is ever going to change. And you go years and decades playing the same song. There's no need to relive that. There's no need to re-experience it. I don't want to go back to any of those pains. I get emotional just thinking about it. My life could have been radically different if I embraced that side of myself as opposed to the greater side of myself. But that's a decision to show up every day, to do what's required, to become a student. And I gave a list of all the things we've accomplished just in the last 2 years. And I still see the same people struggling and trying to get their next deal. Like, what is wrong with you? Why am I seeing something greater for you than you're seeing for yourself? You got to change the script. You got to change the song. I want it for you. But it doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't. You have to want it. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Badass Agents Podcast, brought to you by AZ & Associates and Do the Work Coaching and Consulting. You can watch this and other episodes by subscribing to our channel on YouTube or by visiting us directly at badassagents.com. And of course, you can listen to this episode and many others on your preferred podcast provider.